This card's a field spell. Oh my god. Thank God we don't have to deal with pre-preparation of rites being a factor. Yes! Oh my god. What's up guys, Phoenix here. This video is going to be another card review / discussion type video on the spell card that summons our main man, our main source of grief for the past couple hours. And that monster is Amorphous Psycho, the Void Draco Overlord, or as its new name has been translated out to, Amorphous Psycho, the Rites Draco Overlord. And the card that summons it, it's not a ritual spell. It's a field spell. Oh man, it's a field spell. So no pre-preparation of rites shenanigans, no pre-preparation of rites abuse, no manju abuse, none of it. You want to search a card, you search the ritual monster, and that's it. But you can use terraforming to search the field spell, so I guess there is that. But anyway, this card, Amorphous Persona, it's actually pretty damn decent. It's actually very good for the Amorphage deck itself, and then you can just splash the ritual monster in. Like, it actually meshes very well, which means that the card is actually just very playable in the Amorphage deck, and that could possibly be a problem going forward, because that entire deck is just a series of floodgates. But anyway, Amorphous Persona, a field spell card. It's got 3 different effects. Number 1 effect, Amorphage monsters on the field gain 300 attack and defense. So, this doesn't affect this guy because he's not an Amorphage. He is an Amorphactor, so he doesn't go up in attack. Thank God, because this thing doesn't ignorantly need to be running around being 3250. That doesn't need to happen. Second effect, as long as this card remains face up in the field zone, each time Amorphage monsters you control are attributed, you can draw a card. This effect can be applied up to twice per turn. Now that's actually really cool, because for those of you that know what the pendulum effects of the Amorphage monsters are, they're floodgates. One's like macro, one's your opponent can't form chains or something like that, one's a mistake. But they have a maintenance cost of during each of your standby phases you have to tribute an Amorphage monster from your side of the field to keep it up, or else you destroy it. And so this field spell allows you to tribute that monster and then draw a card. And then for your other pendulum scale, tribute another monster and then draw another card. That's actually really cool. That's actually really nutty. That means that this is an archetype of floodgates that can actually yield advantage, because you're going to be pendulum summoning those monsters out back anyway. So it's literally just resolving a plus every single time you do it. So that one's pretty neat. But then, third and final effect, the one that is the relevant part of why we're here, you can banish this card from your graveyard. Tribute pendulum monsters in your hand or on side of the field whose levels equal 8 exactly. Then ritual summon Amorphous Psycho, the Rites Draco Overlord. I'm assuming from hand. It doesn't specify at the current point in time, but I'm 100% expecting it to just be hand. There's no need for it to summon it from graveyard, and there's certainly no way that this needs to be able to be summoned from deck. But anyway, like, this card is all around a very good field spell in terms of the fact that it allows the Amorphage deck to use it without having to use Amorphous Psycho. It's kind of like how Good and Evil of the Burning Abyss, it could be used with Malakota, but it actually just had some use by itself in the Burning Abyss deck without running Malakota. I really like cards like that, where you're not bullied into running certain cards just to make it usable. Like, this field spell could have easily just been like, oh, you have to have Amorphous Psycho on the field in order for you to get your draws and all that. But you can also just get if you have one of these engrave and you're banishing it to summon the ritual guy, you can also just have one on field, and then you're getting draws from tributing your monsters. That's really cool. I like that interaction. But anyway, Crisis probably averted. This is still actually just really good because it lets you ritual summon without actually having to have a ritual spell. Like, you just do your regular Amorphage nonsense, and then you can have this engrave and ritual summon this big guy if you want to. But it's definitely not like a main focus of a card. So it's definitely probably not going to be the main focus. Although, if you're playing the Amorphage deck, I see no reason why you wouldn't play this card. This card's actually just insane, and you could probably just draw, have some sort of like terraforming chicken game draw engine to draw into multiple of these field spells, because it doesn't specify that, like, you can't use it the turn it was sent to the graveyard. So on your first turn, you can summon this guy by putting one of these field spells in the grave. There's multiple different factors that go into how you can play this card, but overall, I'm just glad we can't have pre-preparation of rites abuse with this card. This card being a field spell is hilarious. Now, there is other abuse that this card can have with Amorphactor, just in general, like Odd Eyes Advent summons it, and that summons from grave, so I mean, you could potentially loop with Sky Iris and Odd Eyes Advent, for like locking your opponent out for 3 turns, but I mean, like, that is specific to a different deck, and it's not specific to the Floodgate deck that is Amorphous. And like, that's actually just something that's taking a little bit of, you know, some of the stress out of my system. Now, this Amorphous Psycho is still an absolutely ridiculous card. That card is still absolutely insane. Do not get me wrong on that. But with Amorphous Persona being the card that it is, being, you know, they can't use pre-prep, which is ideally the only thing that I was actually like 100%, I don't want this to happen, because that's just a raw +1 that doesn't need to actually happen. But other than that, like, the fact that this card is just well-rounded by itself and isn't just made to spam and abuse Amorphous Psycho is actually just a huge weight off my shoulders in terms of what I'm expecting the future of the game to hold. But anyway, that's just all I really wanted to talk about, because this card is actually, I really like this card. I really like this card for the Amorphous deck, even though, like, that deck is kind of degenerate, and, like, I don't like the deck's design at all, because it's literally all floodgates. Like, we literally just got one announced with this card that's a mistake. Like, that's insane, but we'll go into that a little bit more later when I make a different video talking about the Amorphous in general. But that is all for this video. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell me anything that you have, any comments, concerns, anything like that. Leave those in the comments down below, and we can all just talk together in a big hive mind. I'm really happy that we started doing that on the Amorphous Psycho video that I did, where there's just like tons of people just talking and putting their input in on something. Like, that's what I like. I like that happening on my videos, comments. But anyway, links are in the description to both my Facebook pages. If you want to connect with me, chat with me, whatever, definitely go check those out. Click an ad if you have not. I'd greatly appreciate it. Helps me make money, and there's no reason to lie to you guys about that. If you have an ad block enabled, do me a quick favor and remove it. Click an ad or two, then put the ad block back on when you're done. Helps me out more than you could ever know, and I'd be greatly appreciative to you if that's something that you could take the time out of your day to do. And it's just a great way to show your support in general of the content that I've been producing and will continue to produce. If you like it, show your support, and that's probably the best way to do so. But Crisis, ultimately probably averted, although we will be dealing with this card in the future, just not nearly as horribly as I was initially afraid that we were going to have to. But that is all for this video. As I already said, if you have any other input, comments, or concerns, leave them in the comments down below, and we will talk together about them. But other than that, as always, guys, take care. I feel better.